Hi everybody, good morning. Take 2 in trying to do instructional cooking videos. I hope everybody's doing well. Every day is the same day. I don't know, what are we going on, 500 days of quarantine? But a lot of you have asked on how to make fresh pasta. So I'm going to learn with you. I've done it many times before, but depending on humidity, it could be very challenging, but I'm hoping today in this demonstration it'll be pretty straightforward. So what we're gonna make today is I'm gonna make Pappardelle. It's a wider noodle. I'm actually gonna use my pasta making machine attachment from KitchenAid. It makes it really easy. You can also roll it out and then cut it yourself, but I find that the KitchenAid attachment is so much easier to use. So for this demonstration, you're just going to need a half cup of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of semolina flour, which gives it more texture, 2 egg yolks, and 1 whole egg at room temperature. So that actually makes a difference. You'll need a clean surface to work on, or like what I have here, which is a cutting board. And I really think that a bench scraper is your friend. It'll help you keep the flour together as you're working the dough, keeping it kneaded. Keep in mind again, depending on the humidity of your kitchen or season, you may have to add water because it may dry out. So we'll see how it goes today. But before we start, cheers to all of you. I know it's only 10:15. It's a mental health awareness month, so I think we all need this. So cheers to y'all. Okay. Take your half a cup of AP flour, half a cup of semolina flour, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and whisk it together. And then on your board or your counter, go ahead and make a well. And I don't know if you can see this. I apologize, I do not have a tripod, but as you can see, I made a well on my board and I made a little circle. And then I'm gonna take the eggs that I have and I'm gonna go ahead and whisk it. And I'm gonna whisk it because I don't want to whisk it in the flour. I find this better, so that's my chef tip. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the middle. And I'm just gonna make my well a little bit bigger. And I'm gonna put my eggs in. Okay, so you may have seen this on TV. A lot of chefs do it this way. You can also do it in a mixer, but I wanted to show you how all the Italian grandmas make it, because this is how they do it. And grandmas have it right. So I'm gonna go ahead, and what you wanna do is you wanna bring the flour patiently, don't rush it, and bring the flour to the eggs. And just keep doing it. And you're gonna do this until you get most of the flour incorporated, and then we'll go and move into our bench scraper. So again, I know it looks, they call it scraggly. That's the culinary term, scraggly. And you're gonna say, this doesn't look like anything, but no, it's exactly how it's supposed to look. Just keep incorporating. And again, it doesn't look like much, and I know, and I'm praying that this is gonna come together all in one go. Again, you just never know. And so here I go. So I think this is great because then you get to see it real time, not like where it's perfect on TV. Because nothing's ever perfect, right? So, okay, I don't know if you can see that. It's becoming a dough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna now switch over to working the dough. Put this aside, and I'm gonna use my bench scraper. And I swear to God, this is like a godsend. Oh, and I actually, I think the humidity is actually working in our favor because it's still moist, sticky. Okay. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and I think it's coming together. So I'm gonna go ahead and start kneading it. And at this point, it's gonna feel, to be quite honest, guys, it's really a touch and feel kind of thing. As many recipes that you're gonna find, pie dough, pastry dough, it's all about the feel, guys. It really is, and it's hard for me. You can't really. A recipe will tell you, but until you're actually working with it, you just don't know. Okay, look at this. Oh my God. I didn't expect this to happen because I've done this a few times with some other students of mine, and it just stayed dry. So what you're gonna find out is you work the gluten, which is what gives it texture. Here's my ball. So what you need to do, and you have to do this, promise me, I know you want to do something with this, it needs to rest. The glutens need to relax, so be more pliable. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in plastic wrap for at least 30 minutes, 30 minutes at room temperature, and then we'll go back to it, and then you'll be amazed. It's going to be a totally different animal. Italian grandmothers like to wait overnight. They feel like it relaxes even more. But I think because they use a different type of flour in Italy, it works better. But in our case, we'll just wrap this up in plastic, and I'll see you guys in 30 minutes or 45 minutes. In the meantime, I'm just gonna continue cooking this, and I'll see you in a few. Okay, welcome back everybody. I just realized I made a critical error. Before you wrap up your dough, you need to knead it. So when we got it to the stage where it came together, which was perfect, and I got so excited about it that I forgot a very important step, which is we need to knead it by hand for 10 minutes. And so during the break, I went ahead and unwrapped the dough ball, and I kneaded it for 10 minutes, and it became really soft, and it felt the way it should have felt initially. And then I wrapped it in plastic and kept it on the counter for 30 minutes to about 45 minutes to let it rest. And if you can see, it's very smooth now, and it feels very soft. If you push it, it has a little give. So when I initially showed you, it came together, but it wasn't smooth. So write that in your notes. After it comes together, knead it for a good 10 minutes, and it'll come to this kind of nice, soft, pliable dough. Wrap it in plastic, and then forget it for 30 minutes on the counter at room temperature up to an hour or overnight, so that it can rest. So just want to make that point. So now we're going to move on to making the actual pasta. This is my pasta attachment, and right now it's on the roller attachment, which basically I can make sheets of pasta for lasagna. I can also make sheets to do ravioli. There's also an attachment to make spaghetti, and there's also an attachment to make fettuccine. So it's very simple, but today I'm just going to show you how to make flat sheets, and then show you by hand to cut pappardelle, which are the white noodles, which I want to do today because I love them. And you can make it with a short rib ragu, which I often do, a mushroom sauce. You can do Alfredo. I mean, it just depends on what you like in terms of the type of pasta noodle that you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and unwrap our pasta dough. It's going to feel sticky, a little sticky. And so I have some flour that I'm just going to dust onto my counter, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half and split the dough, and then save it, the other one, and wrap it up in plastic and set it aside, and we'll work with this one. And we're just gonna go ahead and flatten out so we can feed it through the roller. Again, if you don't have the roller or the hand cranked manual roller, you can do this by rolling out on a rolling pin, with a rolling pin, excuse me, and it will be just the same. I love this, and I don't have to think about it, and everything comes really even. So I'm gonna go ahead, and there are little notches on these attachments. You always start off on number 1, which is basically the first setting, and we're gonna do that 1 to 4 times, and then we'll start doing increments of 1 until we get the right thickness or thinness of the pasta. So let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and feed it. Let me flatten this out a little bit more. And we're gonna go ahead and turn on the machine. Okay, so as you can see, you have your first sheet. Once you have this, you need to fold it in on itself. So we're gonna go ahead, if you can see what I did, fold it to the middle, fold it on top, and we're gonna go ahead and feed it again. And we're gonna do it again. And one more time. And it's getting a little tacky, so I'm gonna put a little bit more flour on it. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more flour on both sides. And then I'm gonna go ahead and increase it from 1 to 2. I'm going to stop here so you can see how the sheets are forming. You see how pretty that is? It's so pretty. So at 3, this potentially could be your lasagna sheet. So you have to keep in mind the recipe I gave you is not a lot of pasta. I basically gave you a very small amount. I think this is probably going to make only about less than a pound of pasta, but I wanted it for demonstration purposes so that when you guys make a bigger batch, you'll understand how it all works. So, all right, we're at 3. I'm gonna go ahead and bump it up to number 4. So with each increment, you're basically stretching the dough and it's rolling out thinner. So I don't know if you can see this, but you can see the shadow of my hand, which is perfect. That's the perfect thinness that I want for my pasta. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay this sheet onto my sheet pan here, and I'm gonna just lay it down on here to kind of dry out a little bit. And now we're gonna go move on to the second one, and I'm going to go back to 1. my little piece, go ahead and flatten it out. I'm gonna dust it with a little flour so it doesn't get caught up in the roller. Okay, fun, right? Okay, so now we're on one. Turn it on. And again, we're gonna fold it in on itself. And we'll do this 4 times. And it's getting a little sticky, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some more flour on it. Now I'm going to bump up to 2. And 3. So again, like the first one, you can see, if you can see again, you can see the shadow of my fingers. This is perfect. Okay. So let's move this aside. Now I want to show you how to cut the pasta. So you want to first trim the edges to make them nice and even. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this end. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Trim this end. And we want long noodles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and roll this up. See what I'm doing. I'm rolling this up. So I'm rolling it up. That's going to be the length of my pasta. And I want it to be more of a pappardelle width. So it's going to be a wide noodle. I can make them into fettuccine. So at this point I can make them into fettuccinis and just cut like 1/4 inches. But in this case, I want to make wide noodles. So I'm going to go ahead and cut okay. Oh, not bad. And what you'll have are these strands of noodles. So what I'm going to do with my semolina flour, I'm going to go ahead and coat my sheet tray with some semolina flour so they don't stick. And I'm going to go ahead and unravel these. Tray. So you can see It's best to wait before cutting because it's quite sticky still. Let it dry out a little bit and then go ahead and cut it. But as you can see, look at what we got, guys. We have fresh pasta noodle. So I know we're in quarantine. I know flour is scarce. Pasta, you don't need yeast, so that's one less ingredient. But I think now that we've been in quarantine like forever, flour seems to be readily available, eggs are readily available. You don't need to have the semolina flour. This is just a particular pasta recipe that does use it because it has a really nice texture, but you do not need semolina flour. But if you want to have fun at it, I mean, you guys are home, try to make fresh pasta, and they cook like in 3 minutes. Put in a pot of salted boiling water. So look at this. It's gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and toss it in the semolina so it doesn't stick. And I'm just going to show it to you. So you can see this beautiful pasta. This is not going to be enough for my husband, but that's it. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the other batch. In order to cook it, keep it covered, or you can dry it out. Just get a really good big pot of salted boiling water. Drop your pasta in. It'll take 2 to 3 minutes at most, and then take it out and then toss it in olive oil or butter or whatever favorite sauce you want to make. Tonight I'm going to do a roasted tomato and garlic pomodoro sauce with fresh basil, and that's it. I'll make sure to take snaps of those so that you can see what that looks like. But I hope you found this instructional, helpful, maybe make you want to try it, but I hope you enjoyed it, and happy cooking, and hopefully I'll do another video soon. Bye guys.